Good morning. Denise Dryden. I'm out on Bainbridge Island, and I'm a little late because I decided that there's something about the fog today that I needed to be out in. So, I've got my Wi-Fi set up, and I'm out here on the beach, and I wanted to talk to you about when we believe. Because the way that we believe is something that's so magical about being human, right? It's what happens when we accept things, when we trust them, when we have confidence about the way things are, when we have faith, when, these pieces of us start to really fall together, right? And when we believe, when we absolutely believe in something, what happens is that we build this construct around what that is. We build this construct which is, I have a life with him. I have a great job. I can build a life off of this salary. I can, I trust my family. I trust my health. And so what happens is that we have these beliefs, right? And they're constructs. And Lori Ladd spoke this weekend on one of her little short videos, and she did a really good job. She said, imagine that the body's like a river, and that the beliefs are these big boulders that are sort of in the middle of it. And so, our life comes up on these boulders, and we move around it, we absorb it, we make that boulder part of who we are, right? Makes sense. So our beliefs are something that are really crucial to us as to how we navigate, how we move forward in this world. And it's sort of like our faith in God, our faith in a person, our faith in a cause, our faith in life, our faith in in a construct, right? A construct that we created, a construct that makes sense to us. So it's where there's confidence and acceptance and faith and knowledge. And it's when the theory we had starts to work. And it's sort of all about this mental construct, which is how we formulate it, how we build around it, and how we put it into place. And knowing that form follows thought, when we hold this form, it stays with us. So how we approach or design our lives is our beliefs. How we trust our lives is our beliefs. And so this is our greatest gift as a human being, is that we believe in things. And we make them happen by our manifesting, right? We make them happen by our love, by our effort, by our willpower. And, when our beliefs are intact, everything works. And then there are times when our beliefs are not intact, or when something comes along and it shatters us. And I wanted to stand out here today because there are some things that in the coaching practice I have with family systems, where family systems have been devastated. People have been devastated when their beliefs fall apart. So some of the things I thought I would share with you this morning. So what happens when your oncologist tells you, oh, you're 98% clear. This is the best results I've ever seen. You are as healthy as we could have ever hoped. And you're going to make it. And then slowly over the next weeks and months, your body starts to fall apart. Not because of the cancer, but because of the drugs and because of the treatment and because of the overall stressors on everything else. And you're like, no, I thought we had this beat. What happens when you have a beautiful son that you send off to college? And he fails an entire semester and lies every week and hides every week. It's great. Yeah, I'm getting good grades. And at the end of the semester, you realize, oh no, that didn't work. What happens when you have a 12-year-old who loves her club team? Oh my God, all of her friends are on it. She's a shining star. She lives for playing soccer. And she's cut from the team for political reasons. And her world falls apart. And your world is devastated watching her not be able to pick up the pieces. When your straight A son, star athlete, goes to a party and overdoses on mixed pharmaceuticals. A cocktail that sounded like a lot of fun. And there's permanent brain issues as a result of it. Your world falls apart. When you go through 3 employee reviews and you're like, I'm gonna get this. I need the salary increase, I need the title, and I'm gonna get this. And you overhear your boss talking to the directors that says, she's a single mom, she's not going anywhere. I can continue to stall her for another 6 to 12 months. And you realize that it had nothing to do with your performance, that they weren't gonna pay you because they had other places for the money. And you have to make a decision. When you discover tens of thousands of dollars of credit card bills for prostitution and pornography, and your family's already struggling with making ends meet, and you realize that this is hidden, it's a dark, ugly secret, and it's going to cost your family everything, right? And the one that I had the hardest time to wrap my head around was a parent who told me that her 16-year-old daughter came to her and told her that her grandfather had been drugging and raping her since she was 5.5 years old. And so what happens is that we swirl. We can't make sense of it. We shatter into 1,000 pieces, and we're scattered in every which direction, and we're like, oh God, what do I do? And I always talk about, it's like little pieces of you just hit this, like Skittles. They just hit the cement floor and they spread out all over the place, and you don't know who you are or what you can do. You just blew apart a construct. Something that you had held, something you were proud of, something that you counted on, something that you knew was going to work, right? And it didn't. It was a whole bunch of beliefs that were put together on a construct that wasn't able to hold, and it broke. And when something breaks open and breaks us apart like that, we're like, well, now what? What do I do? So we know that we're going to go through those stages of grief, right? We're going to go through anger, blame, denial. We're going to be throwing things at people. We're going to be questioning ourselves. We're going to be going all over the place. There's going to be so much pain. You're in the swirl of devastation. It makes sense, right? And then you're going to go through this self-doubt and this self-blame. Like, how did I not see this? How did I keep this construct in place when this was going on? What do I do now? And you doubt everybody and everything because you don't know what's real anymore. And I remember, this is a very interesting little side note. I remember in the mid 78, right? Being at San Jose State taking an in-depth class on the revelations of World War II. And it was based on the fact that F.W. Winterbottom wrote this book called The Ultra Secret about the Enigma decoding during World War II. And so what the purpose of the class is what happens when information is declassified and everything we thought about World War II is now tainted or switched or changed or absolutely not true at all about World War II, about the Germans, about the British, about the Americans, about every part of it. And you have to sort of shatter out the existing history and build something new, including this information. And so there's these constructs that when they fall apart, we have to figure out how we're going to rebuild them. And so because I work with family systems, here are some tips that I came up with over the years of these kinds of challenges, right? Number one, recognize that you're shattered. Recognize it. I'm in 1,000 pieces all over this floor. I'm experiencing a major construct dissolvement. Like everything that I've ever known is out there. And it's being released. It's almost, if you were in tarot, it'd be like the Tower card. I brought the cards, but they left them up in the car. Number 2, you have to breathe. You have to steady yourself. You have to get to that inner core, right? Where you know that you can listen and you can see and you can feel with all of your senses, like, what do I need to do now? What do I need to do now? Or what am I noticing? So breathing and staying steady helps, because there's information there. There's information that can help guide you. Number 3, what do you notice? What's really true? What's really happening? And then you start to see the little pieces of hesitation in your son's voice when he's trying to tell you about school. Or the fact that your son is getting edgier and edgier with the crew that he's hanging out with. And they're getting more experimental and talking about breaking, new frontiers, right? Or you notice that your relationship with your husband has been deteriorating for years and you've never really been able to put your finger on it. Or go to the very deepest part, which is, what did I really know? What did my body, what did my intuition really tell me? And then, number 4, you address the immediate issues. You really look around and go like, so what needs my attention right now? Because you're in triage. You're in triage with yourself. You're in triage with the person who shared this with you, with the other. You need to listen. You need to learn. You need to create a new view. And you need to understand that just because this fell apart doesn't mean it's the end. It just means that everything that you knew to be true fell apart. Number 5, you need to slow everything down. It's not going to help if you go into reaction or negative reactivity. You have to take your emotions and slow them down. And so you have to watch who you call, how your anger comes out, what emails you write, what picket signs you pick up and you start forcing and you start talking and you start yelling, because this is just channeled fury. What we really need is we need your strength. Number 6, we need your strength and your courage to be present to what's unfolding. Okay? We need your grace to listen and hold and be compassionate. Like, I need to understand more of this. I need to be able to witness what's happening. I need to be part of the assistance of this, not part of the problem. Okay? Number 7, you hold yourself intact with dignity. You're leading yourself. You're leading the person that you're talking to. You're leading your family. You're leading your community. You're leading the world forward. How you handle this, people are watching. And it isn't that you want to hide it. It's that you want to process it with dignity, like, okay, this is the hardest thing I've ever gone through. I need this, I need this, and I need this. And you let people watch you as you process this. Number 8, you find places and times and ways to let go, to process on your own, whether it's walking, crying. I used to get in my car and drive from Bend up to the ski hill and back. It was 20 miles with my windows down and just scream as loud as I humanly knew how to process it, so that I didn't do it at home in front of my kids. You need to let it out. You need to let the emotions, the stress, the angers, the feelings out, right? And number 9, if you need support, get support. Get yourself a therapist, get yourself a coach, a shaman. Process it with them so that you know that there's a place where you can begin to put the constructs back together in a new way. Because what we're doing is it wouldn't have fallen apart if it was sustainable. It wouldn't have shattered if it wasn't propped up in some way that didn't work anymore. It no longer served us. So when something falls apart, and we're looking at this right now in our political system, when something falls apart, the construct doesn't work anymore. So what we're doing within our worldview, within our community view, within our family view, within our soul, the view of ourself, our soul, we are building new constructs. And I can tell you, on the flip side of these, when you handle them, when you process them, when you own them, when you treat them with compassion, when you understand that they are there for a reason, right? It creates more creativity, more freedom, more fluidity, more flow. And life is different. It's not the same. We can't go back and make life the way it used to be. What we can do is embrace it where it is right now and start creating a new belief system, a new construct, and hopefully one that has a little bit of wiggle room so that it doesn't have to blow apart like the last one did, right? And we bend our knees and we move with it, and we realize there's going to be really dark, foggy days, and it's going to be hard, and there's going to be sunny days, and it's going to be okay. So this is the kind of stuff that we do every week as we talk about the big stuff, the big things. So you can find me here on DeniseDrydenCoaching.com, on YouTube, on my Facebook page, and I look forward to talking to you next Sunday. Tonight is a full moon. It's a lunar eclipse. It's going to sort of bring up some of these things that are wanting to shake and dislodge. So be ready. Take care. Bye-bye.